hello, and good evening, and welcome to your analytical video with your favorite internet night owl. The last analytical video that we did was about, 2 years ago? So we're really pushing on the time here. 2 years ago, it was 3 years ago, what the freak? Jimmy, cut that out! Hi, hello, and good evening, and welcome back to your analytical video by your favorite internet night owl. The last analytical video that we had was about 3 years ago, right? So we're really burning the time in which we're pumping these out. So that kind of puts a lot of pressure for this to be a good one. But don't you worry, it is going to be a good one. Because today, we're going to be talking about your favorite anime of the year, Blue Lock. And what a coincidence, it so happens to be my favorite too. There's no bias at all. This video is a crash course in the central themes of Blue Lock. Ego, pride, adaptation, and the brutal idea that you must be willing to do anything to achieve your dreams. Now, if you've been living under a rock, or hiding in a filing cabinet like the Epstein Files, Blue Lock is a high-stakes, character-driven soccer story that asks one ugly but brilliant question. What are you willing to give in order to win? Over the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're breaking that question down together. Let's go. What makes Blue Lock different? Well, most sports animes are about friendship, teamwork, and inspirational rivalries. But Blue Lock? Nah, Blue Lock is horrifyingly beautiful. Physically, mentally, morally. There are no friendly rivalries here. There's no we'll get him next time jamp. There's no boohoo whining crying about circumstances. I mean, well, there is, but it's funny. Blue Lock breaks identities. It strips characters down to their ugliest selves and forces them to rebuild from the rubble. And the relationships? They shift constantly. Enemies become friends, friends become rivals, and rivals becomes catalyst for change. It's chaotic, it's raw, and it's original. And I love it. Coming from a die-hard sports fan, Blue Lock is the perfect depiction of shonen obsession in sports anime that I've ever seen. It shows what relentless discipline actually looks like. What it looks like to be focused on a singular desire of constant improvement. It shows how sometimes delusional belief in oneself can change the very outcome of your life. And it unpacks that obsession in the best tropes. Characters who demand excellence, grueling training arcs that push past limits, and high-stake rivalry that challenges egos. I'm going to show you how Blue Lock uses ego as a weapon, how pride becomes both fuel and poison, and why the question, what are you willing to give in order to win, is both brilliant and terrifying. Listen, I love stories about pushing yourself past your limits, much more than the next guy, especially with friends who challenge you and help shape you into a better version of who you are. But Blue Lock is not like that, not even close. Listen, Blue Lock doesn't romanticize sacrifice. People get cut, dreams get crushed. There is no power of friendship here. Only the power of douchebags you hate so damn much that you get better to spite them. And honestly, that's my kind of anime. Blue Lock frames obsession as a tool. When a player learns to weaponize their selfishness, the entire game changes. And that's the first idea we're unpacking. With our first character, Isagi Yoichi. Let's start with the intro. With every great story, Isagi, whatever his last name is, shows up looking like a loser, a bum, a guy who gets outplayed by literally everyone. There are background characters who look more like the protagonist than he does. And in the first 30 seconds of the show, he gives up a perfectly good shot to pass the ball to someone who couldn't finish. He cost his entire team nationals. Was he being noble? Or was he just being weak? You're crying about losing, but you handed the ball away for what? A pat on the back? To be remembered as a team player? Well then, congratulations, that's all you'll ever be remembered for, if you're remembered at all. Why Isagi works for me as a protagonist is because he is a blank slate. Every single one of us is Isagi. Well, except for myself, of course. I'm absolutely amazing and without flaw. I'm talking about every one of you are an Isagi. In some facets of your life, there are some parts where you fail. where you gave up the opportunity, or better yet, you gave the outcome of whatever opportunity you were chasing for to somebody else, and they had failed you. Instead of taking that opportunity for yourself, no matter what the outcome would have been. After that failure, Isagi receives an invitation to Blue Lock. Roll credits! No, not the title. The training program created by the Japanese Football Union because their players suck on the world stage. Listen, we already know Blue Lock isn't a camp, it's not a school, and it's not a team. It's a battle royale for strikers, where 300 of Japan's best forwards are locked in a facility and then told only one of you will become Japanese future striker, and the rest of you, well, your careers are over. Permanently. Blue Lock is designed to break players, mentally, physically, morally, and rebuild them into ego-driven monsters who can carry a nation on their back. And the architect for this madness? Well, that is our one and only Igo Jinpachi, the mastermind behind this entire program. A coach who rejects every traditional value of Japanese soccer. It's building up to be a good anime, huh? Where normal coaches preach teamwork, synergy, humility, harmony, and all that nonsense. Igo preaches selfishness, ambition, and ruthless individuality. His philosophy is simple. The striker who stands at the top of the world is the one with the biggest ego. And he tells the players that teamwork is secondary, politeness is useless, and selflessness is akin to weakness. A striker must be obsessed with winning. A striker must crave the spotlight. A striker must believe that they are the only one who decides the match. And then he says, if you want to be the best striker in the world, then you must be willing to kill everyone else's dreams.
You ever felt that way about music?
You notice that word? You have to murder someone else's dreams in order for yours to survive. That's what it really means to go after something that you believe is important, that you'll kill something over it. And that speech lit a fire in Isagi because for the first time in his life, someone is telling him to his face, you weren't wrong for wanting to shoot. You weren't wrong for wanting to score. You were not wrong for wanting to win. You were wrong for denying yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where our protagonist Isagi first gained his ego before anyone else. He ran. There wasn't a moment of hesitation. In a room full of hesitation, he was the only one that sprinted forward. The first one, clawing his way to the front of the line like a starving animal finally shown food. This is the moment that Isagi stops being the kid who passes the ball. This is the moment where he chooses himself. And this is the moment his ego is born. He doesn't know how he'll do it. He doesn't know if he's good enough. He doesn't even know what his weapon is yet. But he knows one thing. He refuses to be the guy who hesitates ever again. That's why Isagi stands out. Not because he's the strongest, hell, not because he's the fastest, but because he's the first one to say, I want to be the best, and I'll do whatever it takes. And that's the heart of weaponizing an ego. The burden of losing is a heavy one. And Blue Lock is the best depiction that I've seen of carrying that weight. The best depiction of losing that I've seen in media. Losing isn't a lesson. It isn't a badge you can paper over some participation trophy. There's always a sting. It leaves a scar. And the show refuses to let you forget it. Some characters break, some shatter, and some rebuild instantly. But the winners aren't the one who never lose. They're the ones who aren't afraid of it. Isagi's greatest strength throughout the entire anime is his adaptation. He learns in real time, mid-match, mid-panic, mid-failure. And he rebuilds himself in the middle of the game. The ability to adapt on the spot is one of the show's core lessons and Isagi's greatest strengths. Yes, I can actually give him some props. How in the first few episodes, Isagi faced a very real threat of being disqualified from Blue Lock forever. His second chance, gone. But given the chance to destroy someone else's dream, the one who snuffed out his earlier, of getting into nationals. He takes a shot with zero hesitation, straight to the guy's face, where the player who was forced out cursed on how unfair it was, how he was jumped, how he was better than everyone in here. Ego shuts him down immediately. You still had time left. 4 seconds while the ball was in mid-suspension. And because you didn't act to strike another player who was in your shot line, you had mentally given up before the clock even hit 0. And a player like you, with a weak ego, has no place here. So lock off. Those who give up at the first sign of failure genuinely shouldn't have even tried to begin with. If you were going to walk away at the first sign of struggle, losing once, and having a weak ego, why bother even trying in the first place? Understand something. Kind words and excuses don't help anybody. Not really. It's textbook escapism for those with broken dreams who can't bear to deny the awful lives they lived thus far. I refuse to live in a future like that. A future where I'm someone who'll give up on something so effortlessly, or someone who'll disillusion themselves with excuses to not even bother trying. Pointing the metaphorical finger at everything or everyone else as if they're to blame, but never at himself. And by doing so, find sullen complacency with his inaction. I can't bear to imagine that'll be the type of person I'll be, who've given up on their dreams, with goalposts that have been pushed so far only to find themselves at the end with no time to do anything. Too busy wasting time complaining about wasted time, no longer able to make anything new of themselves. It refuses to comfort and calls out complacency, and it demands ruthless self-improvement. And for that to happen, you can't be afraid of losing. Ego exists to rewire the minds of Japan's future strikers. He teaches the opposite of every sports cliche. Don't be a team player, don't be humble, and less of all, don't be polite. The team should orbit around you. You should be the gravity. Now, unchecked ego is dangerous, but ego is also the engine behind every skyscraper, every invention, every empire. Ego separates the people who climb from the people who stay content. When ego gives a speech about you being the one, the Messi, the Ronaldo, the player who stands above all others, then it makes a lot more sense why Isagi ran forward before he even understood why. Because he didn't let losing burden him. He kept moving forward, despite the possibility of losing again. Can we talk about another character, please? Now, where am I getting at? About talking about my favorite anime, about ego, pride, and ambition. Well, my dear viewer, why is this all important? Well, that's because of the overarching theme of this video. This video is about you. You are the benefactor, and you will assume all responsibility for the actions that you take. Just like Isagi, just like all these other 299 players, they've decided to step up. You have to be willing to do anything it takes to achieve your dream. And that is both beautiful and terrifying. You see, we live in a society where politeness is favored over ruthlessness. Politeness is behind every participation trophy. Politeness is behind every jaded and bitter adult. You will build your ego, and you will climb amongst others, and you, and only you, will benefit from all your efforts. This anime directly calls out how polite society has burdened in our youth, how they've made weak adults. It's taken out the competition. It's taken away the competitive edge. Behind every invention, there was a man and or woman that was hungry enough to discover it. Now what's more beautiful and more terrifying than that? This is a direct call out to you, to be that monster in your life who refuses to take anything less than excellent, to push themselves past whatever they thought was possible. So come on, egoist, stand up and make 2026 your year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't much of an analytical video, huh? Well, this is my first time. Well, untrue. This is my third time, but I'm still practicing, and I'm only gonna get better. So you keep looking out for me, okay? Well, with that being said, I'm looking forward to making another analytical video for you guys. Maybe a review video, to be honest with you. But we're gonna have to save that for another video. Until then, guys, make sure you drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. If you haven't lost, you stay too safe. If you haven't failed, you aim too low. And if you haven't fallen, you are not climbing high enough. Safe attempts don't build dangerous people. You can't stay in your comfort zone forever or avoid every L and still claim you gave it your all. Loss is proof you stepped into a territory where you could fail. You aimed high enough that missing was possible. You cared enough to put something real at stake. And the simple fact is that you only find your ceiling by hitting your head on it. Wait, that sounded good actually. Yo, that sounded good. Wait. You don't know what your ceiling is until you hit your head on it. I like that. Wait, freak. What do I have the time to put that in? Oh, that's a bar. Bro, that's a bar.